Hello everyone and welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Matt, and in today's video I thought we would do something a little bit different, and I thought we would react to some houseplant trends for 2025. I found an article on The Spruce, and they wrote an article that says 8 houseplant trends you're about to see everywhere in 2025. According to gardeners. So I thought it would just be a fun, cute little time if we went through this list, reacted to what these gardeners have to say. Now, before I get started, I just want to say 2 things. First thing, trends are pretty much nonsense. If you love a thing, do the thing. It does not matter if it's trendy or not, and if something brings you joy, I say go for it. Second of all, everything I say in this video is my own opinion, and you should not take it too serious. I am obviously not an expert myself. I'm just a plant enthusiast who likes to make silly little videos, and this is exactly what this one will be. So this will be purely entertainment, and trust me, the world would be a very, very boring place if we all had the same opinions. So with that being said, I will be roasting and toasting this article today because I took a little peek, and some of the things they wrote on there are questionable, to say the least. But without further ado, grab yourself a cozy little cup of tea because we're gonna be spilling some tea, and let's go ahead and have some fun, shall we? The first thing The Spruce says is gonna be a houseplant trend in 2025 are low maintenance plants. I feel like low maintenance plants are kind of timeless. Like, they're always gonna be trendy because everybody loves low maintenance plants. That's why they're so popular. That's why they're sold everywhere. That's why they're so widely available, because they are easy care. And I feel like even if you're not like a big plant enthusiast, and even if you just like to have like a couple of plants in your house just to add that little bit of greenery, I feel like low maintenance plants are the go-to for that purpose. So I don't necessarily think this is gonna be a trend. I think this is something that's been happening for years and years, and it's just something that's gonna continue. So I wouldn't call it a trend because it's not something new or something that's coming back into fashion. I think low maintenance plants were always there. In the last couple of years, rare plants and kind of a lot more harder to obtain plants have definitely dominated the market. I will agree with that. Especially for really big plant enthusiasts, we usually tend to go for those kind of plants because, you know, we did the low maintenance thing, and we are looking for something that's a little bit more challenging, or that just kind of rewards us in a different kind of way. But I still believe that we all appreciate those easy care, low maintenance plants, and I think those will never go out of style. At this point, I think low maintenance plants like pothos, ZZ plants, sansevieras, I think those are timeless. And I think they're always a good addition to literally any home. And to me personally, a house just doesn't feel like home without any plants. Next thing is terrariums and plant cabinets. I feel like this is kind of, once again, a little bit of an older trend. I think this kind of started maybe in 2022 or 2021 even, where, you know, a lot of people were building those IKEA greenhouse cabinets. I myself don't have one. I already mentioned this in a couple of videos. I like to keep my plant care very, very easy and accessible, and with as little steps as possible. We as people are geared towards going down the path of least resistance. So for me personally, if something is behind a closed door that I have to open in order to take it out and then water it and then put it back and then close the door, too many steps. I already said this a couple of times in my videos, too many freaking steps. I don't like it. Now, terrariums, I think, I mean, aesthetically, both of these things, terrariums and plant cabinets, look absolutely delicious. I think they look divine, especially when people like make those gorgeous looking cabinets that are actually like a terrarium. I know Plants with Crystal, I believe is her name. She like recently created a gorgeous display. It looks amazing. I can appreciate it in other people's collections. It's just not something that I want in my own collection because, again, it's too many steps. And when it comes to terrariums themselves, the little terrariums, while yes, I think they're freaking adorable, I personally am not a fan just because I actually do like to, I like to touch my plants. I'm a very tactile person. That's why I really love like fuzzy or hairy plants because I just love to touch them. I like to feel them. I like to play with them. That sounds so wrong. So wrong. But you know what I mean. I just love when I can get my phalanges in there, and I feel like with terrariums you can't really do that. So for that reason, I'm not the biggest terrarium fan. It comes back to the low maintenance plants because terrariums are definitely very, very low maintenance. But for me, I actually love taking care of my plants, watering my plants, fertilizing my plants, washing my plants. I get a lot of joy out of those activities. So for me, terrariums where you can just put it on a windowsill and forget it and not like look at it for months on end, it's not something that I am currently interested in. However, I do agree that terrariums and plant cabinets will probably continue to be very popular in 2025, especially terrariums. I think terrariums are like plant cabinets are more niche because like a regular person probably ain't gonna have a plant cabinet, but I think like more and more regular people who just enjoy having a couple of plants in their house are definitely gonna have more terrariums because they are so easy care and you can just set them, forget them, and they will look really, really pretty. So I do agree with that one. However, again, I kind of feel like we've already did that, but oh well. Next up on their list is orchids. Now, I don't know much about orchids. I'm not gonna even lie to y'all. I'm not an orchid head. My mom has around 6-ish orchids, I believe. She loves orchids, and I love looking at her orchid collection. She has them all on a nice little windowsill that's east-facing in her kitchen. It looks beautiful, especially when they all flower, and she actually manages to rebloom them, even though she really doesn't do a lot with them. But yeah, her orchids, beautiful, stunning. But for me personally, I never really got into the world of orchids, and I don't follow orchid growers or orchid YouTube channels, or I'm just not really interested in that world, so I cannot speak too much on it. I do think that the interest is increasing because I am seeing a lot more different types of orchids, a lot of different varieties of orchids I feel are popping up in like different stores and stuff. So I definitely feel like orchids are popular. There's actually a floral art festival happening each year in my country, and it usually happens around like June, July. And I love it. It's such a beautiful, magical time. But yeah, orchids are usually at the forefront of those events, and there is a lot of orchid sellers, a lot of orchid growers, and a lot of people love orchids. So I think that they are right with this one, and that orchids will continue to, just keep their popularity. But again, I feel like orchids have been popular for quite some time because they are just that staple plant that you can pick up at a grocery store, and it can look beautiful because it has something unique that, your regular houseplants like your golden pothos ain't gonna bloom indoors, and orchids have the ability to bloom indoors pretty easily, and their blooms last for a long time, and for that reason I think they are very appealing to a lot of people. Next on their list are colorful planters. Now, I absolutely love colorful planters, and I do think we are finally moving away from those white and black only planter combos. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm literally wearing a black and white striped shirt. I am not against a minimalism look. I'm not. I think they can look really, really stunning. I think we beat that horse to the freaking ground. I'm also a big fan of interior design, and I feel like black, white, gray, beige. I literally have gray walls. Who am I talking to? But I think those colors have been beaten to the ground, and I think it's time to put it in the past and move on to some more fun, colorful combos, bring back those bright poppy pops of color. I mean, there are still a lot of people who appreciate and love the aesthetic of like having all white pots or having all black pots, and there is nothing wrong with it. But I personally love to have a mismatch of pots. I think it's so charming. I think it adds so much character. You just have to find kind of the balance in it and find a cohesive look that works for you. I find that pairing contrasting colors works. For example, orange planter with a blue planter, a saturated planter with a less saturated color planter, or a plastic one with a more natural materialed one. It's all about variety. It's about having different kind of heights, different widths. There is no like rule book for this kind of stuff. It's very, I feel, intuitive, and something can look great in one space and then you put it in another one and it looks absolutely horrible. However, colorful planters, absolutely here for it, and I do hope that they are right with this trend because I think it would be really, really cool. Moving on, they are saying petite plants. Tiny plants are going to be picking up major momentum in 2025. All right, I think I can see that. I definitely think a lot of people are getting more into those tiny plants and really making cool little statement plant pot combos. You know, they're using the top dressing, they're making it look all nice and pretty, and that is something I want to actually do in my own collection. And I would love to add some more kind of unique, weird, kooky plants and like plant them in like cool planters and have them really displayed in a very nice aesthetic way. I definitely think that tiny plants are much more better suited for these kind of aesthetic projects. Now, this is where they confuse me a little bit, because first they mention small plants and then they move on to talk about large plants. Like, what is it? Like, how can we have small plants and large plants be trending at the same time? I don't really get that. I really don't get that. But large plants, yep, sure. I mean, large plants have always been trendy. This is, again, we're going back to the fiddle leaf fig, to the Monstera deliciosa, to the olive tree. Oh my God, do not get me started on the freaking olive tree. I don't like when those rich people buy like such beautiful trees like the olive tree and they just put it in a dark corner. I mean, it's their money, whatever. They can do whatever the frick they want with it. I'm just so like, it peeves me. But yeah, I think this is something that has been happening for years and will probably continue for years, because in a design and in aesthetic home design, big plants definitely play a major role. Like, no matter what kind of like interior design YouTube video you watch or you flip through a magazine, you will always see one of those big statement plants. But like I said, whether it's a fiddle leaf fig, whether it's a Monstera, whether it's a Dracaena, it doesn't matter, but they are everywhere and they have been everywhere. So again, I don't think that's a trend. I think it's just something timeless that will continue to happen. Next on, we have rare plants, and I'm just gonna rare plants. That word, that phrase, it pisses me off, because what the hell is a rare plant? What the hell is a rare plant? If it's in cultivation and if you can buy it quite easily or from like an online store and it can be shipped to you right away, that is not rare. I hate when plant shops put rare in their plant's description. Like I don't know, they will say for, I don't know, a Florida beauty. Is it rare? I don't think so. It's everywhere. You can get it literally everywhere. And if you can get something everywhere, it's not necessarily rare. Now, I don't care. Like, if you want to call your plants rare, call them rare. I really don't care. But it's just, what bothers me is that it is a selling tactic. The term rare is used to bump up the price, because if you as a common buyer read the words rare, you're gonna be like, oh wow, that is rare. So it's okay to spend a lot of money on it just because it says rare. But like, who defines what actually is and isn't rare is very vague, it's very wishy-washy, and I'm just not a fan of that marketing tactic, because it's very clickbaity. it's not nice in my opinion, and I didn't like it. And I wish people would just stop calling plants rare. Like, just, it's maybe uncommon would be a better word. To me, rare plants are really just plants that aren't in cultivation because you can't get them, or it's very hard to get them, or just like a certain number of people have them. Flip side to this issue are elitists who, because they have some sort of like expensive rare plant, they think they're like better than everybody else. And that's a whole nother can of worms that I'm not gonna get into. But just so we're clear, I do not support those people either. I just wish that people would just collect plants and just enjoy this hobby. It does not matter whether you have a rare or common plant. Like, the rarity of your plant does not matter. What matters is that it brings you joy and that you love taking care of it. That's it. I think this, I mean, it's a trend. It will continue, and people will continue to sell rare plants for expensive, crazy freaking prices. And lastly on their list are Hoyas. Now, finally, something that I can actually agree on. I think Hoyas are having a resurgence. I think they're going back, and I love it. And as you all probably know, if you've been on my channel, I have been in love with Hoyas lately. I have been collecting a lot more of them. I freaking love them. They're beautiful, they're pretty. There are so many varieties, and they bloom, and when they bloom, they are stunning. So I absolutely love Hoyas, and I would love to see more varieties. I would love to see more people collect Hoyas. And what I would love to see most of all is for Hoyas to drop in price, because they are seriously crazy expensive. Usually, like, just the tiniest little cutting costs like $50 to $80, which is insanity. I would love it if the price on Hoyas were to come down, because right now, in this moment, they are crazy expensive. However, love me Hoyas. Freaking love Hoyas. Would sell my soul for Hoyas. I am literally just Hoya obsessed. And I think in 2025, Hoya is definitely going to be the one genus that I will be buying the most of. I think I will for sure be expanding my Hoya collection in 2025, which I am really looking forward to. And that about wraps it up. That's their whole list. And I just have to say that I agree and I also disagree with some of these trends. And if I was editor-in-chief and I was in charge of that article, I would just be like, maybe like this is okay, but like maybe we could just do a little bit more, you know, just do a little bit more research and just, you know, put in something that's actually a little bit more, dare I say, interesting. But it was still a fun little read and still a fun little reaction video. And again, I just want to say it once again. I have nothing against the spruce. I have nothing against the people who wrote this article. I do not care for these people. I hope this wasn't too mean. I hope it wasn't. If it was, oh well. These are just my opinions. Don't take anything I say too seriously. I mean, I'm just a goofy little guy on the internet who loves plants and nothing else. My opinion does not matter at all. But I do hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comment section below, what are your thoughts on these trends? Do you agree or disagree with them? And do you have any planty things that you think will be trendy in 2025? I personally think that Anthurium will continue to reign. I think Anthuriums will go even harder and even crazier in 2025, and I am scared. I am scared to see the prices. I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, have a super fantastic, fabulous day, and goodbye!